So I just got here in TIP and right now I'm at the library in Castle Campus. And why don't we answer this question from CpE Laws and Professional Practice? Okay, so again, my name is John Michael Garcia from CpE 31S1, I believe. And this course is CpE Laws and Professional Practice. Do I look like still sleepy? I don't know. But okay, let's start. The problem is, or the question is, there are many ethical issues on which individuals often hold strong and deeply personal beliefs, such as abortion, gun control, or death penalty, among others. And imagine, you are part of a team working on a project, and one of your team members strongly disagrees with your stance on one of these sensitive topics. The question would be, would this difference in opinion affect your ability to work effectively with them? Why or why not? So I have some key answers here, and it starts with it depends. It depends. Why? Because we have to respect that others have bad or might have bad previous experience and tend to be sensitive about the topic. For example, one of your employees or one of your workmates know someone or had experienced these sensitive topics such as abortion, gun control, or death penalty. Of course, they tend to be uncomfortable and making your workplace very hostile for them. So, of course, that would affect the whole team's productivity. What if that person is handling all the paperwork and you can go through them because they have personal problems with you because you bring that topic on the table and now everyone has to talk about it and they feel uncomfortable. And then, of course, generally, we have to consider their opinion and beliefs. So, like as I've said earlier, they tend to be sensitive about their past experiences if they have or they know someone that experienced it, like relatives who was involved in some gun problems, some cartels, or they have a friend or siblings or even them at a previous abortion, or a family member who was involved in that penalty before, for example, their grandparents or their other relatives or even family that are in other country. So there are cases like that. And yeah, why? Because it can cause mental damage to them, resulting in a possible lawsuit. So worst comes to worst, if an employee had the chance to file, then he can use this as a leverage that there was some mental damage and of course like psychological, and that would cost or might cost the company or firm a lot. Maybe the company will start laying off some employees and of course they will for sure investigate this case, and it might lose or no, let me think about it. I think the company might go bankrupt or might lose your job. Either you'll get fired because you're the one responsible for it, or gonna be laid off from your job because of course financially. And in these cases where you have to really bring it and discuss it, for example, you're working on a project or case that has somehow related to these problems or might be deeply related to others' personal beliefs. So instead, have a different approach. For example, replacing. You replace but keep everything as a fact. For example, I am a manager and I found out that someone leaked documents. And then I said to my team, whoever found or tell me who leaked the documents will get a $1,000 from me. So now it sounds like bribery, right? And then what if we replace it? So I am the manager and I'm talking to my people or my team, and I would say, whoever tell me who leaked the documents would be incentivized on that action. So it's like you're incentivized them. So you're saying incentivize and not the word bribe, or make them believe that it is a bribe. So, and then lastly, working with harmony. So your primary goal, if you're working with others or you're managing some people in a company, or of course in your team, is you have to make sure you're achieving maximum results and productivity. And that would mean you have to make them work, or you have to work with them in full harmony. So of course, if there are some personal problems with each other, I think that should be kept personal, and let's be sensitive about some very sensitive topics or personal topics, because it can have negative impact on your work. And yeah, if they disagrees, and worst comes worst, if they disagrees, then you have to find some alternative. So you can't just fire them because they don't agree with your plans or what the project needs, because that's another lawsuit. It's like you're not providing enough reasons on why they are being terminated, and sometimes without due notice. And yeah, that's a problem, and that's very unethical. And let's run through again the problem. Difference in opinion affect your ability to work effectively. Yeah, effectively, it will affect your effectiveness when working. So yeah, like I said, working with harmony with others. And yeah, I think I've answered some problems. And to be transparent, this is my script, and just some key points. I think I had them all in this podcast. And yeah, so I think we should practice professionalism and maintain ethical work, because every action have consequences. They might not come early, and they'll hit you hard when it's very late, and when everything is hard, and that would put you in a very difficult position. So let's also think about how others feel and not be insensitive, because in the end of the day, we're all colleagues, and we all still the same people. So if you're working with others, I think it's best to enjoy your time, or not necessarily enjoy, but have a good time with them. Maybe they might help you in your career. And of course, you'll find people who you can really trust. And then again, be professional and ethical with your work. So that's all for this podcast.